My name is Juan Javier Aguirre. I go by Javo. I live in Fontana, originally from Long Beach, California. No, don't use that.
Yeah.
Really, one of the projects I really want to highlight, as far as the projects I've created, happens to be Dreamer. Dreamer right now, was selected to be screening at Inland Film Fest. Shout out to Inland Film Fest. That's awesome, man. The reason I bring up Dreamer is because, number one, the political climate that we're living in, I think it's a theme that deals with things that are just more relevant than ever. Flipping that narrative is significant to succeed in this country. These are opportunities that are not granted in other countries. It's not exclusive to Mexicans coming into the United States. I mean, this happens worldwide, so it's a universal theme. And I wanted to make sure that we see that other side of things, not the stereotype, but we see the good that actually does occur as well. Currently, I'm working on two projects. One has been a work in progress for a couple years. It's called Feeling for Breath, and it deals with a serial killer in the Inland Empire. Some dark themes and whatnot. Quiet on set. All right, can we get crafty here, please? I'm just fucking. As far as pinpointing what type of films that might identify my style, I tend to explore themes that are a little dark. These are everyday things that happen, in real life, and people have filmed about these kind of things, but maybe they're not the norm, or the way I might approach them might not be the norm. So they are dark themes, and for the most part, there is some kind of either light at the end of the tunnel or some kind of ray of hope, right? That's not necessarily a staple that I'm reaching for. It just so happens that some of the films that I've made do have that element, but that's not something that I'm married to. Really, generally speaking, you add those elements to social awareness, themes with that call for social awareness. I think that's something that could be like, hey, that's a type of film that Javo likes to create. Like favorite movie,
like a favorite movie.
Punch Drunk Love, 100% Punch Drunk Love. Paul Thomas Anderson is just, I love his work, and Punch Drunk Love is, to me, it's almost a perfect movie. Almost a perfect movie. It's up there with Rocky. I like the romance. I can't write romance, but I mean, they're both beautiful love stories. And
when did you first start to love movies?
Probably back when we lived in Mexico. I was probably 7 or 8. So we moved back to Mexico, my parents, thinking they were going to build a life out there after having immigrated here. Hence my experience with where I drew a little bit of Dreamer from. But anyway, back to Mexico, I saw this movie called El Caballito Volador. It's not very common. There's a lot of folklore in it. It's about a flying wooden horse. And as silly as they might have been at that age, I was like, oh my God, seeing it in the theater. I didn't know what theaters were until I saw it. I was like, oh shoot. The screen must have not been that big. In Leon, they probably didn't have big old theaters back then, the mid 80s, etc. Silly, stupid movie, but.
What is it about filmmaking that brings you back time after time?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I definitely don't want to ever stop doing. As long as God allows me to create, I'm going to try to. But really, filmmaking, I took a liking to it when I was 19, 20 years old. I took a class at Chaffey College and loved it. My professor back then, Dr. Yarbrough, he passed away like towards the end of the semester when, and he never got to see one of my projects, and I really wanted him to, and it was just devastating, heartbreaking. Once I revisited filmmaking, which is maybe about 6 years ago or so, and this was really prompted by my daughter, who saw me kind of like in a dark spot, and she wanted me to, hey Dad, do something. Hey Dad, I remember you used to do this. Try it out. And for her sake, I'm like, you know what, I will. And man, I revisited filmmaking, and I'm like, I don't want to ever stop creating. I love it. I just, it's stressful, but it's stress that you embrace. It's rewarding. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, at the end of the day, I want people to see what I've created. Just to get eyeballs to see the stuff that I've created. There's value in that. Now, if I were making money off of this, heck yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Of course I'd love that, but it's not what drives it. I mean, that's why you spend all this money and you go broke and are willing to keep going broke because you just enjoy it. And it's more than just enjoying it. It's part of what you want to continue doing no matter what.